so good inside. Don't need anybody, I just need to be. I just wanna dance all night. I don't want to remember everything you did. I'm done with the hurt inside. Feel it in my body, feel it in my feet, and it feels so good inside. And I always wanna feel like this. I close my eyes and all my troubles fade away. I was once got so deep into play, but tonight I won't let that go. Gonna make myself forget about you, baby. Gonna make my head forget your name. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna dance the pain away. Forget your name. Gonna make myself forget about you, baby. Oh, gonna make my head forget your name. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna dance the pain away. Forget your name. Forget your name. Gonna make myself forget about you, baby. Gonna make my head forget about your name, yeah.
Welcome. I'm Christine Vartanian, and this is the Waist Up Wardrobe podcast and our kickoff episode to Waist Up Wardrobe. Today, we're going to be talking about a challenge in the virtual world that's taking the virtual world by storm. Bloopers on Zoom. I call them Zoopers. Zoopers are catching people doing things they would never normally do in public. They're funny and they're entertaining, but you don't want to be one. Want to know the secret to not becoming a Zooper? Well, stick around and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, an attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style and dressing them for success. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally on camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk. Hi, Virtual Nation. It's nice to see you. I'm Christine Vartanian, and now you put a face with a name and a name with a face. Let's dive right into Waist Up Wardrobe. I want this to be super interactive. I want your questions. I want your dialogue. I want your thoughts and your ideas, because you might have great ideas that you can interject and add to with this. And so put those in the chat box below. So I'm going to start out by saying, how many times in our history have we almost entirely, the entire working world, been virtual and been doing their work from virtually, right? The working virtually is here to stay, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's a 21st century way of doing business. And so before we start, I wanted to introduce my super awesome producer who is behind the scenes, but always there, Rick Moscoso. He is my tech genius, and he is always here making sure I'm on point technically and not blundering. He's an expert at so many things, has so many gifts, but live streaming is truly his jam. Hi, Rick. How are you today?
Hey, Christine. I'm so excited to be here. And look, I'm sporting the Waist Up Wardrobe a little swag this morning. So hopefully you'll enjoy that.
That's right. And you know what? It looks great on you. And I know you wore it because I asked you to, or maybe made you. Well, it's great to see you. And thank you so much for all the work you've put into helping me launch this Waist Up Wardrobe podcast. I am looking forward to bringing so much great information to the Waist Up Wardrobe world so that anybody trying to be in a Zoom room to do their work can build up a knockout, successful Zoom meeting with really looking and projecting a really professional image, right? So here's the thing. I am an image consultant, and most of what I do revolves around getting my clients dressed up, right? So I get them dressed up for success, so to speak, right? And but it's always, the image is not always just about the clothes. There's so much more that goes into building that knockout image that you want to project to the world, right? You have a website that has content and copy that says something about you, and it's a way of you to express your brand and your personal image. You have cards, business cards, you have social media. All those things really are building blocks and parts of the puzzle that go into your image. And much like what I do through my overarching business of Jade for All Seasons, Waist Up Wardrobe is here to serve the community doing virtual work from home. And it's about, of course, it's about what to wear on camera, what colors to wear, what not to wear. But it's not just about the clothes. It's going to be about everything that goes into that image that you're putting inside this rectangle right here, right? Everything in this box, in this rectangle, is important to really tell the viewer that you are professional and you have a certain signature style and that you are you care about your business and really making a great impression. So we're going to be talking about lighting. We're going to be talking about technical things. We're going to be talking about internet and how to set up your studio, all those technical things, in addition to what to wear on camera, what not to wear on camera, your makeup, your hair, everything really that goes into projecting this great image in this box that you are always in the Zoom room. Okay, so Rick, you are so involved in the technical aspect of what I'm doing, right? We've really done a lot of work working on the studio, and everything really is a work in progress, right? Everything continues to build on itself, just like this podcast is going to build on itself. But all those technical things are really important as you project your image, don't you think?
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's two schools of thought on that, and people will tend to not take action, not do a live stream and share their knowledge base because they want everything perfect, right? They want the right cameras. They
That's
want the
me.
right set. Yeah. And it's okay, especially today, because higher end components are really, really tough to get now, and they're way overpriced. So people will get started with something as easy as their with their phone, and that's okay. Just make sure you have the right background, and we're going to talk more in depth with this in other episodes, but
yeah,
afraid to just start and go.
Absolutely. And that's really, it's about taking action, right? But as we create that Zoom room for all our viewers and our listeners, we want to make sure that they have a place to come to have their questions answered. And on that note, please put your questions or comments in the chat box here for the Waist Up Wardrobe box, because we want to be able to be helpful and teach you from the mistakes I've made and all the knowledge base that Rick has when it comes to technicality. So, as we've navigated these last several months because of the situation of, being in home and having to work from home and being in a lockdown, which is very historic, right, for 2020, we have seen and navigated the virtual meetings, and we have seen some serious Zoom bloopers, some serious Zoopers, and very shocking, very interesting. They can be entertaining, but boy, we just don't want to be the subject of one. One of the funniest things that I saw was, and actually it happened before Zoom was even popular during the lockdown. It was a couple of years back with that BBC anchor, right? He was having a full-fledged national interview, and his 5-year-old son barges in, and then I guess there's another child in the background, his other baby barges in, but I think the worst part of that was when the nanny came in and started trying to drag them both away. I don't know. I mean, people thought it was funny, but I'm sure he was mortified. And that sort of that image that you want to project, and then you have your kids all over you is it's kind of a really tough situation, awkward situation to be in. And then there was that one. A photo is trending lately on Instagram. Yeah, that's the one where this woman is having like a serious conversation with her employees or colleagues. I'm not sure exactly what arena she was in, but she was definitely in a professional meeting, and her husband in the back in his underwear. I mean, like, again, like, he probably thought it was funny. She was mortified, and I'm sure the viewers really totally got sidetracked, right? Not conducive for a professional meeting at all. Okay. I'm just trying to think about all the crazy things I've seen. And one of them, this is my favorite, right? We have this young woman. She's in what looks to be a classroom, and she's fully engaged in this classroom. But then she decides to go to use the restroom, but she takes her camera with her. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but oh my gosh, people were watching this, and you could see everybody's expression. They're like, they just kind of want to unsee it. They're totally shocked. They want to tell her something, they can't. And you just can't really unsee that. And I am sure when she found out or figured out that she wasn't paying attention to her camera, that she too was pretty mortified, right? I had a friend, Rick, tell me about she was having a meeting with her CFO, and the whole time while on camera, he's picking his nose. Why? I don't like, what do you think happened there? Like, why would somebody do something that they wouldn't do in the boardroom when they're in a virtual room?
Yeah, people tend to think that they're in just listening mode.
Yeah.
When they're listening to a conversation, maybe not necessarily part of the conversation. And they just automatically do that stuff, not even being aware that the camera's still hot, right? Still live.
Right, exactly. And it's not just about the visual bloopers and zoopers, right? There's also the audio bloopers that you want to look out for, right? You don't want your mic on when you're and having somebody yell at their mother across the hall, "Hey, mom, make me breakfast." Or your kids running around, or your pets barking. You really have to be mindful of the audio too, because that tells people something. It tells people that you are not wasting their time. You don't want the distractions. You're really focused on them. So another, situation where we're navigating still in this virtual world, and just trying to figure out where and how we can do this and still remain professional. I know you've been doing the live streaming for so many of your clients, and I'm curious, what has been the most shocking Zooper you've seen on live?
Well, we've seen some doozies for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to bring up a comment here from Kristen. She mentioned that in a Zoom session, she was with a client who's sitting on the bed wearing an undershirt. So that's kind of goes along the same lines of one of the ones that I saw online. It's something that you would think from a professional level. We're talking about someone in the Mexican government who's actually a senator.
Yeah.
In the Mexican government, showed up in the Zoom room, topless, right?
Oh my goodness!
I don't know what she was thinking
wowzer.
there, but that was like, oh boy,
Oh boy, and
Probably
that's
not the
not
place
staged.
to do that.
That's
No.
not staged, right? That's
No.
actually real.
That is real. That
Wow.
is real, and that you can't unsee for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. We don't walk around the streets naked, right? I mean, everybody has a different level of what's appropriate and what's not, or what they're comfortable and what they're not comfortable with. But the rules still remain the same in a professional setting, right? You want to show up with your best foot forward, put out your best image, and you definitely don't want to show up without clothes on, right? It doesn't really happen in a regular boardroom. Was there anything else that you've seen that that was kind of like, oh wow?
Well, here's another one. This one's more on the national stage.
Okay.
It's probably a newscast that you see, many people see every day.
Yeah.
This happened to be on Good Morning America, and it kind of goes along with the similar theme with what we're doing here today of Waist Up Wardrobe. But there was a news anchor broadcasting from home.
Uh-huh.
everything dressed up nicely from the waist up, but of course, he's sitting there in his boxer shorts. So
Yeah, so that's not what we mean by waist up wardrobe, everybody. We really want you to be clothed fully, even if you are going to be pajamas. But, that actually makes a really great point for what I want to share with our audience. You have to pay attention to what's in your rectangle. Everything in this rectangle, people can see. It's public, it's out there, and you can't undo it and you can't unsee it. So in this instance, a confidence camera, looking at the confidence camera or looking at, what you look like on camera is really critical because it's not only embarrassing, it's kind of unprofessional and people don't want to see that. The other thing is taking those calls in odd places. I know Kristen actually touched on that. And hi, Kristen, how are you? How's everybody out there? Hi, Bertha. It's nice to see you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for the compliment. That's my power piece. The earrings, the statement earrings. I love earrings. Kristen, hi, Heather. How are you? Heather wants to know what software we're using, Rick.
Oh. Well, there's different softwares that we can use. In this instance, just because of the equipment that we have available, we're using a service called StreamYard. And it happens in the cloud, so there's no strain on the computer, and you can pretty much do it on any type of computer, even some of the more recent handheld devices.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely a tool that I'm learning to use because, Rick is tutoring me and teaching me. Is there a way to put the information in the chat box, Rick, for people to kind of have it on hand?
Yeah. As we're chatting, I'll drop it in the chat box.
Great. Hi, Anna. It's nice to see you. And Kristen, what you were saying about, somebody taking a call from the bedroom, right? I was totally the odd place Zoom room, right? Nobody wants to see you laying on your bed taking a call. It's just not appropriate. You know who does that a lot is my daughter. She is 16. She's in the bed in her class. And every time I walk in, I'm like, I am the host of Waist Up Wardrobe, my friend. You cannot be taking a call on your bed. Kids do that all the time. And even for children, I mean, I know they're not in the workforce, but it is important to be still appropriate. You're still in sort of a working mode, whether you're a student or you're a professional, right? And then people who take calls in the bathroom, oh my goodness, they might not be going to the bathroom, but they are sitting on the toilet. I can't. I just don't know what to say about that. It's quite interesting. But there's some other things that we have to think about, not just how it looks, but the acoustics. If you're taking a call in the bathroom or in your closet, the acoustics in those spaces is not great. And really being on a great knockout Zoom room session, you really have to pay attention to the lighting, the acoustics. Those things are really, really important. That's where Rick is going to be key, actually. Rick here is manning the backboard, and he'll put on the screen in the lower third some information for you guys to have on hand as we stream through this. It's not showing up right now, Rick, just letting you know, but maybe you're not ready for that.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, no, I was just saying the lower thirds, just putting in the information for the audience so they can see how to reach us and all that good stuff. So a common Zooper that I see that actually everybody I know has kind of experienced that either on the receiving end or being one. I know that I've made so many of these mistakes, and that's why I'm so happy to share what not to do, is, a lot of us women inadvertently will go close to the camera and try and adjust it. And then the audience, all they'll see is down your shirt, your cleavage. So just sort of being aware of those things is really, really important. And it really boils down to what I call Zoom room etiquette, right? There's some basic rules that guidelines, I'll say, not so much rules, but guidelines that we should really pay attention to. People take these calls in these odd places because maybe they're trying to run away from the kids. They don't want to be interrupted by a pet. But the problem is that we, in this time where we're really actively on the virtual calls and virtual meetings, the lines between work and home are kind of getting blurred. and it's easy for it to get blurred. So it's totally human, right? We're all been experiencing that, and the boundaries are kind of blurry. And then you have some people that really kind of give up on the boundaries altogether, and they're like, they let the kids run wild and they let the pets walk all over the keyboard. And what it is, I mean, we love kids and we love pets. They are very endearing to us, and they're cute and it's entertaining. But the reality is it can be very distracting, right? And not only distracting, but it prolongs a meeting for people. And it's just not really great from a Zoom room etiquette standpoint to expose the people that are on the other end of this too. Don't you agree, Rick?
Yeah, absolutely. You need some privacy. And you need to be pretty much isolated so there's no distractions.
Correct. Exactly. And so, look, people aren't used to being on screen. I mean, that's the problem. This is something that's very new. So this whole list of Zoom room etiquette guidelines is really something that is being compiled. We're kind of flying the plane. We're building the plane as we fly it, so to speak, right? So we're not like... we were still kind of fashioning what the guidelines should be, but there are some common sense things to fall back on, right? And why is it so bad to be the subject of a Zooper? Well, I think it's just that it just says something about the image we want to project. We want to really present that knockout image. We want the viewer to feel like they are the focus, and that we're not interrupting, that we're not being interrupted, and that we care about them and we're professional. I think one of the worst things is taking an interview, right? You're interviewing with a potential boss, and he sees you being distracted by any of these things, and it really doesn't really give him a good impression of like what you are, what kind of employee you will be. So that's really, really important. And I see Kristen is saying that, people taking Zoom from the car. Yeah, I mean, especially, we're not talking to mom or dad or your sister, right? Those are more casual type meetings, and that's totally fine. But when you are with a boss, when you are with colleagues, they expect you to be all there. And being in a car setting, even though sometimes it's hard, you kind of have to make time for it. If you were on a regular work day, you wouldn't be in your car taking your meeting, right? So we've talked a little bit about all these Zoom room etiquette things, so to speak. But I want to give you guys some real tools, some tools that will help you prevent being the subject of a Zooper, right? Some tools that I found very helpful. You can get this on Amazon. It's really easy to put up. It's an on-air Zoom light, okay? You can get this. There's a link that we're going to put. Rick is going to insert it below in the comments. You can go straight to Amazon and purchase it. And you put this on the outside of your room. You can mount it, or you could just lay it there. I don't think you actually have to fix it to the wall. And when you're in session, and you're behind the closed doors of the studio, you put it on. It tells everybody around the other side that you are on air and busy and don't want to be interrupted. Now, it's really great for adults, of course, and older children. And I know there's always that challenge of the younger children, right? Because they don't really understand those boundaries. But it really does help, because it puts people on notice that you are busy and need to be focused. The other thing that I love and I use is the hanging door tag that says on air. And this item is also on Amazon, and the link is inserted below. Now, I use both of those things. I love them both. I just want to say emphasis. I like to repeat myself. Exclamation, exclamation mark. I have the door tag and I have the light. So it makes it very, very certain that I am super busy. Do not interrupt me. Rick knows this about me. I repeat things for emphasis. So anyway, just two tools, handy physical tools that you can perhaps put into action to kind of secure your Zoom room. Also, there's a couple books on the market that I think could be really helpful as you continue to build out that perfect studio, right? There's a book called There's No Place Like Working From Home, and has some great ideas about how not to procrastinate, how not to blur those boundaries and those lines, right? And then the other book that I think is interesting and fascinating, it's kind of playful, which is what we're all about here at waistUPwardrobe, is sort of like a survival guide. It's called the Work from Home Survival Kit, or Guide, excuse me. And it just has this sort of playful survival guide approach to kind of giving you a checklist to what to do, what not to do, and some really great tips. So I hope those can be helpful for you as you build out your knockout Zoom room studio. So a couple things as we wrap up. Waist Up Wardrobe will weekly bring you Waist Up Wardrobe Weekly Wrap Up. Okay, and what the Waist Up Wardrobe Weekly Wrap Up is, what you can expect from that is takeaways, a summary of your takeaways, a summary of your tips, and a summary of the tools that we offered you, right? The most important takeaway today to take away is that Zoopers can be prevented. They really can. With just a little bit of planning, they can be prevented. And with some basic tools that you could put into action that were offered here or displayed here for you to get. And that little bit of planning can go a long way, okay? Now, in terms of the tips, really, this is something I'm still working on. It's always a work in progress. Don't you think, Rick? I mean, I think we're always working to perfect that studio. I think until the last minute, we were just trying to figure out lighting here today, and we still have so much to do, right?
Well, it's an evolving thing. As you get more comfortable with broadcasting, being in front of the camera, then you start paying attention to what do you want the audience to see behind you, and to make it look like this is my workspace, and that's a reflection of your brand. So it'll be an evolving thing. Don't expect to be perfect the very first time out of the shoot, So I'm sure the next time we see this, we see Christine on this broadcast, we're going to have something a little bit different back there.
Right. It's an ever evolving process. Absolutely. And we're all perfecting it because Zoom, the virtual world, is not going away. And we want to dominate from the desk, behind the desk, just the same way we dominate in everyday life in the traditional working world. So some tips to remember is have a designated space. Like that is everything for me. Like I have a whole room dedicated to my studio, right? The whole room is just for broadcasting. I have a little corner in the room right here where I broadcast from. And I know that's not practical for everybody. Not everybody can do that. But even if you had a little corner where people know hands off, this is your studio, your space where you broadcast from, and have it set up so that you get right into your show or your Zoom room, and you're all set. It's all set up. Also, remember I think it's a really good idea to invest in one of those tools, right? Like a light that alerts people on the outside that you are busy behind closed doors and you're live, or one of those door tags or anything else. I mean, you could actually make a handwritten sign that you could put out. It doesn't have to be that professional, so to speak. And being aware of your surroundings. I mean, take an inventory of what's going on behind you before you get on. Check to make sure the kids and the pets are busy doing their own thing so that you can focus on the people on the other end. Get a lock for the door. I think getting a lock for your door can be a really easy fix. So that's a great, tip if you have ability to do that. And pay attention to, the Zoom room etiquette standards, like, just having your mic on mute and making sure that, you're not interrupted and that you are showing up just like you would show up normally. Do a mic check right before you go on. And some of the tools to really to think about is those tools that I was saying is that, the light has really been a lifesaver for me. My kids know not to come in when I have that. Here's the thing, I've made mistakes, so many mistakes along the way. And as much as I want to be perfect, I can't. We're just not perfect. We're human. And nothing makes me more happy than to share all those snafus or faux pas with you, because then it just makes this the image that people are projecting even better, and really, really show the world that you can do it by Zoom. A lot of people are kind of feeling like when they first got onto Zoom, they thought, how can I do my work from Zoom? Almost everybody, I have to say, because my husband's a dentist, and we've been into heated debates about how he can never do dental work from Zoom, and I think he's right on that one. But most professions are now on Zoom, and honestly, I don't think they're going to go back, at least not 100%, because it's more economical, it's very practical, and it's really easy and effortless. And at Jade for All Seasons and Waist Up Wardrobe, we're all about effortless and easy. We want to make things easy, effortless, and fun, most of all fun. So action items, people. Okay. We want to have action items when you leave here. And if you're creating that ultimate optimum Zoom room, think about taking that inventory, right, of your space, of your environment. Lock your door, get a lock for it. Get your on-air alert system do the mic check, have a good mic too. And that's actually going to be the topic of sound and light when we do that episode. And we'll go more into depth about products that you can actually invest in or and how to hook it up and all that, because Rick will be our expert on that. And you know what? Finally, sit upright with good posture. Look into the camera, because I've been terrible at that today. Don't look at the screen and don't look at a script, but look into the camera. And I'm still working on that, as you can all see. And make sure everything in that rectangle is on point and projects that image you want to show people about you, right? There you have it. The Waist Up Wardrobe, a weekly wrap-up takeaways, tips, and tools, and action items to approach the camera with confidence, because I really think we can all do it, as shy as we are in front of the camera. So these will help you hit the ground running and showing up in your best light. And I just wanted to say thank you for joining us at the Waist Up Wardrobe podcast. Join us next week at the same time and same place as we get you ready for what to wear on camera. We're going to delve into your closet and into your wardrobe. We're going to tell you about the colors to wear and the colors not to wear, the things that will enhance all your great features, and the things you should stay away from. So to make sure to tune in at 11:30 next Thursday, where we talk about really what to wear. And if you think you have a friend that would enjoy this podcast, please share us. All right. Bye. See you on Thursday.